It's Sunday the 18th of December and about 3:15 in the afternoon, so there's still a bit of time left, another hour or so before the light begins to fail. I've come up onto my house build just to show you what progress has been made and where we are now. We've just come through a period of a week or so of very bad weather, during which we've had very dull, cold, wet days and freezing nights, during which the water in my caravan has frozen. As you can see, the woodwork is here to put up onto the top of the walls to mount the roof on. It's been here for a few days and was in fact soaking wet, but it seems to have dried out pretty well now, which I'm pleased about, because you don't want to put wet wood up onto the roof and then cover it with plastic, because it holds the water in. We've had a few problems because of the weather, mainly because of the weather, but also because of one of the workmen who's been working on here, which I'll show you more about in a moment. As you can see, the main structure of the house is up. The walls are as high as they're going to go over at the back, as you can see, but the front still has one block more to go on. The reason for that is because we've lost a day, almost a day, because of having to rectify some faults. We had some faults which I wasn't prepared to accept with the verticals of the openings. The openings in the walls are very important, more so than the sides really, because when you put a framework, a door or a window frame into an opening, if the sides are not completely vertical and not straight, you can never really hide that. I've tried to explain to the clerk of works, the French clerk of works, that you only build a house once. You don't want to come back once it's been built and then try to rectify things. You want to make it right from the very beginning. Here is the very main problem. We'll go into the house and I'll show you I'll show you from the outside some of the more minor problems, very minor really. If we look at this window here, okay, I don't know whether you can see, but going up from the bottom, the first two blocks, which were I think put on by the first bricklayer called a maçon here in France, they're pretty vertical. The next one up is sticking out by about 4 millimeters. The top one is then back by 4 millimeters, but not only that, but at its back end there's a gap. So whoever cut that block cut it probably a centimetre too short, and he's just whacked it up without taking any regard of that, when it should have been rejected. Okay, virtually the same thing has happened on this side. In fact, looking from here you can see that the straight edge bends backwards to the left, and then the top block is again cut too short. It's got to have to be taken out and rebuilt, and that's what they're going to do. Not so bad. It's a similar thing here to a certain extent, but not quite as bad. You can maybe see that top block up there again is set back by a few millimeters. That's not good enough. The guy who did that, he's now been banned from the site. I've banned him. I've told him I don't want him back. And in fact, the first maçon who put up the original blocks down here and also put in the level, which was perfect throughout the whole house. I checked it around the whole of the house. He is now back and he's rectifying the faults that were caused by the second one. You can see that this side of the window he hasn't yet done. That's his next job. When they went home on Friday, he had just hacked out the first bit up here, and obviously he's going to have to put a new block in there and straighten the edges. He's had to do it on every single window, every window and door. He's had this problem, and while two other workmen, the labourer and another mason, have been putting up the column here which will support the porch overhang of the roof. They put this up so that they can get on next week and get the roof up. Mason number 1 has been spending all of his time correcting the problems caused by mason number 2, and then putting up the last layer of blocks and the lintels over the windows. Now the lintels, these are these pieces up here. They're made from terracotta, but they've got to support, obviously, roof weight. So what they have to do, they're hollow. Let's see if I can show you one here. There's one. As you can see, it's hollow, and what they do, they cut lengths of reinforcing steel, put them in there with concrete, so that then has the strength to support the roof just over the span. And as you can see, they're cut to length to go over each opening. The mason number 1 has had to rectify the faults caused by mason number 2, and here you can see the result. This is part of the block work that he's had to break out. I said they were not going to continue with the house build until these faults have been rectified, and there you can see a lot of the block work that's been ripped out. Okay, now let's come. They've also this site now is like a new pin. This was like a demolition site. I said to the clerk of works, what was his impression of the site? And I said, to me it looks more like a demolition site than a building site, and that's probably why the work has been so slapdash. And he was a bit non-committal. I also said that where they've patched, which is normal, which is what they do, where they've patched gaps in the block work with mortar, as you can see here and you can see down here, they dropped it on the ground on the oversight, and they'd left it and it had gone solid. I said, why wasn't that cleared up when they dropped it? Why was it left? How did they think that was acceptable? Anyway, coming round here, you can see that this is the window, the last window he's working on. Once he's got this straightened up, you can see these ones here, look. These are all of these were the same. None of these edges that you can see, vertical edges, were straight. They were all jagged, like the ones that I've shown you that still remain. Now they're all straight, and I'm very pleased with what they've done. I'm very pleased with the way they've reacted. Once they've got the block over there up, they'll put the lintels up, bring them down. But then that brings us to this piece here. This was the one which caused me to explode. This window here, which is the toilet, separate toilet WC window, this is how the guy left it. You can't see quite so much of it because they've now got woodwork up supporting this pillar, but I'll try to show you it from here. I don't know whether you can see that. Absolutely unacceptable for a bricklayer, if he wants to call himself a bricklayer, to leave a window, an opening, a vertical of an opening like that, and think that it's going to be accepted. Well, he must be totally bonkers. I'll try again. I'm reaching over, so I'm just doing my very best to show this. But that is the worst. This is the worst. And this was the one that made me blow up. Anyway, they've responded well, as I say. They cleared all their mess up. There's another block, look, that was taken out. See how it's been, they've lifted it out, and you can see the special adhesive that they use on the underside of the block. Perhaps he's going to try to reuse it, no reason why not. Another one they did was here. You can see here, they put the block up, a window frame is going to go in here, okay, and yet they've put the block up with this massive gap. Now, as you can see, there's a choice. They could have put any of these blocks up in that way. What can have possibly possessed a bricklayer to have put a block up with a massive gap in like this when there's going to be a window frame butting up against it? Absolute stupidity. What they're going to do, obviously, they've put this here, they're going to put a bit of mortar in and just bed that in, which unfortunately is the best that they can do. Otherwise it would have meant taking the whole of this stack here. The whole of this stack would have had to come out, and of course it would have then had further complications coming round the corner here. So I'm going to have to accept that, but luckily at least the outer edges and at the outer and inner edges are there as they are on the other side, and that will just be, instead of it being block, that will just be smoothed with a bit of mortar. It's going to be plastered. There's going to be plaster and what is called crépi on it. Crépi is a French plaster, a coloured plaster, which is sprayed up onto the walls with a gun, and you can then either have it smooth or you can have it sort of stippled, and I'm going to have it stippled. So there we are. This is where we are. This is the living room end. Double opening window doors here, double opening window doors here to the south, which is going to be marvellous in the summer with that view, and double opening window doors here to the front, where they've got all of their equipment here. That's going to be a car parking and turning area, stone. The grass will obviously be there, and this will all be tidied up and sorted to make it proper garden. This corner of the living room should be where all the plugs and things are going to be. Television point. You have to have telephone network cabling put into houses in France, going into every room. But of course nowadays the telephones are all wireless, but the rules still are that you've got to have this network cabling. But I suppose that it will be possible to use that, for example, to have the television decoder here and perhaps feed it into each of these cables, so that bedrooms, for example, you can have a television that will be plugged into the wall and not have to have separate cable run. So this is the width. There's going to be, on these walls here, there will be a wooden framework with insulation and dry lining, so that you've got the insulation built into the walls here, crépi on the outside, all of this air insulation in the blockwork. Then you're going to have more insulation on the inside and dry lining. So it's going to be a very well insulated house. The heating is going to be is all installed. It's under the floor, and here you can see it over here. All of the pipes here go into a manifold, okay, which is connected. I won't uncover it because the plastic is already beginning to tear. The manifold is connected to each to the heat pump itself, which will be out in the far corner, outside on the corner, the back corner of bedroom 2, and each section of the house has its own section of tubing. The reason for that, of course, is if you did it all in one, by the time it got to the end, it will be cold. So each section of the house has its own supply and cool return to the manifold, so that you can get an even temperature all over the house. So there's the whole of the floor here has this pipework underneath. I don't know how they're going to supply where the pipes come in from the heat pump. It would make sense for them to have come in underneath, because there's an open void under the floor. Okay, what I'm standing on, there's actually, well, it's open underneath. so all of the pipe work and everything can all be reached. Whether it's going to come in under the floor or whether it's going to come in through the roof and then down inside the wall, I don't know. I don't know how to, this is all new technology to me, heat pumps. But just to give you an idea, this is the living room, and from this corner, where's a bit where I can get to. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5 paces across. So it's a good sized room. There will be, the kitchen wall will be here, and this is the service for the dishwasher. This will be the service for the sink, okay, the outlets. And obviously they will have to run pipe work for the sink, and they'll also do a connection round for the dishwasher. And this will be the view out of the kitchen window without the gazebos and the caravan. This will be the view when you're working at the sink in the kitchen. There will be a worktop down to here, dishwasher here, then there'll be an opening which will just be open, then the wall again will be along here and then along here, okay, which will go into eventually into a corridor going up to the bedrooms. Here the worktop will come along here, kick round the corner, the width of a normal kitchen unit, and I'm just going to have to do an infill in the corner to take account of the angle, otherwise there'll be a gap. The worktop will be continuous, of course. I've got to put all this in myself. There'll be a cabinet over the top of the dishwasher here, so that you can take stuff out of the dishwasher and put it straight into the cabinet, crockery and all this sort of stuff. The other side of the kitchen will come down here, where you'll have the fridge, cooker and that sort of thing, and I'm going to have over the top of the placo four, what we call the hob unit, there's going to be an outlet to take the fumes out through the wall. Okay, the kitchen door will be here roughly, and then here will be the utility room. This corner here, there'll be the heat pump unit, then there'll be worktop running down here, and there will be the washing machine over in the corner, which is what that pipe is for, service to the washing machine. That's the outlet, with a fridge or freezer or whatever. I haven't quite worked out yet. The door here, there will be a wall down here. The manifold will be in the corner of a cloak cupboard, and I'm going to be hopefully going to be putting double opening doors here. Downstairs, separate toilet. I keep calling it a downstairs, but there's only one floor. Separate little toilet here. I'm concerned at the moment because that's the outlet for it, and that's supposed to be in the middle of the room, and I think that is they've misplaced it far too close to that wall. He assures me that he can correct that, and I've said, Didier, so long as you understand that that is not going to be seen behind the toilet, that will be hidden behind the toilet pan. If that is in view, it will be rejected, and he knows that's the way things are going to be. If we come down here, we're now going to come into the bathroom. Toilet will be here. Wash basin here. We've got a shower. Where am I? Oh yes, that's for here will be the outlet for a walk-in shower. The walk-in shower will be here, and the wall will be along here, so the shower head will be on this wall here. Okay, Then the door of the bathroom will be up here, going into this corridor. Opposite the bathroom door will be the door to bedroom 3, and this here is the window to bedroom 3. This is the window to bedroom 1. The door will be here. There's the corridor here, and the door to bedroom 2 will be here. So this is bedroom 2. That's the window to bedroom 2. End of the corridor, there will be a wall up here to separate the 2 bedrooms, but on each side of that wall there will be an open cavity, full height in the room, and in that there will be, I will be building full height storage cupboards, cabinets, wardrobes, whatever you want to call them, in these 2 bedrooms. So there we are. That gives you a good idea of where we are. That silver column out there, I told you that's going to be the column to support the roof overhang, the porch overhang at the roof. And by Christmas they told me that the roof should be up. I don't think the tiles will be on, but I'm certainly hoping that the roof trusses that we saw outside, all of the wooden trusses that were stored over there, I'm certainly hoping all of those will be up. The ceilings and things won't, obviously. And over those wooden trusses there will be a waterproof plastic membrane, so then the inside here will be fully protected from the weather, and work can continue no matter what, which of course is the main thing. The legal completion date, there is no completion date in the contract. However, there's a legal completion period written into house building contracts in France of 12 months. And that expires on the 8th of March 2023 for me. After that date, they then have to start to pay me financial penalties, all of which are described in and defined in the contract, and they come to about 50 euros a day. They've told me that when I've questioned how long it's going to take to complete, because I didn't believe they could get completed by then, they have said the house will be completed according to contract. So therefore they are confident that the house will be completed by the 8th of March next year. So that's what I'm looking forward to. It's going to be fantastic, because I will by then have had 2 full winters in the caravan down there. This winter, I have to say, for this time of year, this is the coldest it's been in any December since I came here 10 years ago, which obviously is typical, isn't it? Because I'm stuck in the caravan, it's bitterly cold and the water keeps freezing. But it'll all be worth it. It's going to be a fantastic place. I can't wait. Going to be a lot of work afterwards. They are going to obviously landscape all of this lot here. On my plan there was a flat area here as a patio in stone, and they've said they're going to do that. There will be a metre of stone all the way around the house, so that you can walk all around the house. It's going to be a bit tricky over the sides, because you can see the house is quite a lot higher than the ground level at the back. And I was thinking earlier on, I'm not quite sure. I want to put gates on both sides so that the back of the house here is fully enclosed, so I can have a dog and let it run free in the garden without a chance of it going outside. And I'm not quite sure yet how I'm going to be able to do that, because if you look at this side here, I wanted to put a gate. Might still be able to do it. It's actually quite a bit higher. You see the bottom of the wall is quite a bit higher than the ground level, and I was hoping to put a path along here with an archway, a stone arch with an wrought iron gate in it, and a 5-bar gate next to it going across to the fence which will be completed. I've had to leave that the gap in the fence, they've said, can I leave that so they've got room to work and get their big vehicles near the house. So that will be completed, and I wanted to put a 5-bar gate across there. So gonna have to see what happens with that. But I think they're going to get the roof on, and I think they're going to get it done by March. In which case I can go back to living once again like a civilized person. You can see here they've left their concrete mixer here this Friday, and they've also left other pieces of equipment, their steps and their other working stuff in the barrows here. That's unusual. Normally they take them away with them. I think that because of the delay of having to do these repairs, I think they've said no, if we leave them here over the weekend they can get off to a flying start tomorrow. And I certainly hope that will be the case, and I look forward to taking some more video and some more photographs tomorrow lunchtime and at the end of the day to show what progress they've made. So that's it for now, and see you in the next one.